Join me, Lily Cornell Silver, for Mind Wide Open, where we destigmatize mental health through conversation.
When I was in my 30s and 40s, I'm like, come on, depression, just get out of the dumps, let's go running, and it's not that. It is not that.
Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go and do that, because what the world needs is people who have come alive.
Any kind of tool for being a better human or keeping your heart clear and hopeful, and it can all be put to use.
Being overly sensitive is like blessing and a curse.
Completely. Where like suddenly I'll be feeling someone else's emotions and like start crying or something, and they'll be looking at me like, I'm good, are you good?
Yeah.
The vast majority of people who consider suicide never go on to harm themselves. Like, we are surviving, and we need as many examples as possible of how people do that.
I think it's important to think that every single person is going through something. And that's called empathy.
Right. You're feeling depressed? It's okay. Now we got somewhere to go. Let's put on some music. Let's feel better.
The emotion revolution that I'm trying to create is essentially infusing emotional intelligence into the immune system of our entire country.
There were so many times when I was younger when I needed what I was listening to, or I needed that guidance, or I need someone just to say, hey, what you're going through is normal.
I originally learned about that intergenerational trauma exists and is like a physical thing in our genomes in school. And I was absolutely shocked.
Grief is often the first time where it's like, it's the first thing we can't run from or hide from.
Right.
It's there at the end of the day. It's there at the end of the bottle. Like, it's there. We can't get away from it.
So much stress is just caused by not having a name to describe what it is that you're feeling and what it is that you're going through. PSA to the world, therapy is great. It should be more accessible. Make it happen, people.
I want to make every day count. I want to do something every day to help another human being and to just share something, positive and beautiful with people.
The thing that for the longest time I saw as a source of pain, and something I had to hide, is now the thing that inspires me.
The psychological abuse of somebody taking away your reality was far worse than beating someone up, than having black and blue marks.
The two parts of health is, as humans, just how we are, is our physical health and then our mental health. And they both need to be intact. They both need to be working together.
I think the most important thing that I do personally is like plan ahead the toolbox of what I can use when something is happening. Because the last thing you want to do is when you become in crisis is like, what do I do now?
Activism for me is healing. When I feel like I can do something to change the situation, even in the smallest way, I'm not depressed anymore because I already feel like a person. I feel like someone who has voice and power.
What's given me hope is people are beginning to see the truth about things. And we're coming out of this malaise, that gives me hope.
It doesn't take us all to have these horror stories that nearly end our lives to be able to finally turn it around. We have to be able to find a way to turn it around earlier on that road.
As I kept growing my following, I wanted to kind of go against that stereotype, showing hey, if you are a Black male, you don't even have to be a part of the LGBTQ+ community, but if you want to be emotional, if you do inherit feminine traits, that's totally okay. And we have people that love you for that.
When you read something or hear something from somebody you don't know and it's the exact same thing that you've gone through, then you immediately feel a connection to them. And we find that we're more alike than different.
Anyone we know that you admire has gone through horrible challenges, whether they talk about it or not.
Find us on IGTV and YouTube, and as a podcast on Apple and Spotify.